You bring home a brand new electric vehicle, complete with a massive, expensive 60 kilowatt hour battery. And almost immediately, you encounter a piece of advice that seems to contradict the point of your purchase. Ask any group of EV owners, and the 20-80% charging rule will come up within minutes. It is the defining habit of modern electric car maintenance. This chart shows a standard EV battery capacity. When we black out the top and bottom 20%, we are left with just 60% of the energy you actually paid for. To a new owner, this feels like an arbitrary restriction. This charging limit is a physical requirement, dictated by the behavior of the lithium-ion cells themselves. The rule exists because the internal chemistry of the battery demands it. To understand why the 80% mark is a hard boundary for daily charging, we have to look past the dashboard display and step inside the subatomic reality of the battery cell. It helps to stop thinking of an EV battery as a black box that holds electricity. Instead, picture a physical environment, a highly active space where microscopic matter is constantly moving. This diagram shows the internal structure of a single lithium-ion cell. The glowing particles are lithium ions. When you charge and discharge the vehicle, these ions physically migrate back and forth across a barrier between the cathode and the anode. When the charge stays between 20 and 80%, this microscopic commune is uncrowded. The ions have plenty of physical space to settle on either side. This creates very little physical friction, allowing the car to easily manage the battery temperature. Operating inside this middle 60% keeps the cell in a state of chemical equilibrium. In this safe zone, the battery can cycle thousands of times over many years without sustaining structural damage. So, what physically changes inside this environment when the vehicle is forced to charge past 80% and approach a full 100? We see a phenomenon called anode crowding. As the battery approaches full capacity, the physical space inside the anode becomes densely packed with lithium ions. This creates intense chemical and mechanical pressure inside the cell. This pressure triggers lithium plating and electrolyte decomposition. These reactions permanently break down the internal chemistry, trapping ions in rigid formations and destroying the cell's ability to hold future energy. This degradation accelerates when you use DC fast charging. Pushing a high-velocity electrical current into the battery generates heat, which acts as a primary catalyst for chemical breakdown. This graph charts charging speed against battery percentage. High charge and fast charging heat create an unstable environment for the cells. To prevent damage, the car's software deliberately steps in and throttles the charging speed once the battery hits 80%. Routinely hitting 100% forces the internal chemistry into an unstable state. This creates the structural breakdown that results in permanent capacity loss. There is an important exception. Pushing your battery to 100% for an occasional long road trip will not instantly destroy the battery. Manufacturers design the systems to handle these specific events. This chart tracks usable range over a 5-year timeline, and it shows where the real threat lies. The damage comes from the cumulative effect of charging to 100% every single night for years. Habitual full charging can result in 10% less usable range compared to a battery kept in the middle zone. For most drivers, a typical 40-mile daily commute uses only a small fraction of an 80% charge. In real-world daily use, the top 20% of the battery often goes unused anyway. If a commute routinely pushes 80% of your range, setting the limit to 90% is a reasonable compromise. It avoids the most extreme microscopic stress zones while providing a comfortable buffer against range anxiety. Managing this chemistry doesn't require constant monitoring. Most modern EVs allow you to set a charge limit in the vehicle menu or smartphone app. You set it once, and the car manages the chemistry every time you plug in. The 80% rule acts as a background tool to manage subatomic chemistry on your behalf. Adopting this habit protects the battery's lifespan and secures the vehicle's long-term resale value.